milestone event. I know it's not a big deal to a lot of people because they already drive trucks and they do this all the time. It's a matter of a daily thing, multiple times a day for some. But I'm kind of excited because I just backed my first loaded trailer into an actual customer door. There it is in all its glory. That truck right there, backed it in, one shot, didn't even do a pull-up, and I'm straight on the door, and I'm extremely happy about it. So, yay! One down, thousands more to go.
Hello everybody, it's Dirk again. So I survived my over-the-road training with Schneider. That was my very last required step in order to fully graduate on board and become a solo driver for Schneider. So pretty happy about that. Last week there was a lot of crappy weather in Chicago, of course all around the country as well, but the Chicago area here, we had some pretty damn cold weather, quite a bit of snow to start off the week last week. So it was a winter wonderland, as I like to call it, and quite frankly, it was what I kind of hoped that I might be able to get when I timed this whole thing. So I, being crazy as I am, and there's a method to my madness, I figured that, well, if I could time coming into driving and time my my over-the-road training experience to make sure that it is in winter instead of summer, specifically somewhere in like the tail end of January into February, which is typically when Chicago has the worst weather. I wanted to do that, and the reason being is that, here, the very first time driving a massive semi-truck, I really was hoping that the first time that I would be encountering, heavy snow, really bad road conditions, icing and stuff like that, that I might be able to experience that while I was with a road trainer. And sure enough, that's exactly how it worked out, and I am extremely glad I did so. The training driver that I had, which Schneider calls training engineers, a woman, absolutely wonderful, fantastic driver. Holy crap, this girl's got some mad skills. I don't think I've ever seen anybody handle a truck in reverse quite the same as she does. I mean, absolute. I mean, she must have a magician endorsement on her CDL. I mean, it is crazy how this woman can maneuver a truck. To give you an idea, her route, she is on the Walmart account, and she parks her truck in the Schneider yard, South Costner yard, which is a yard that Schneider has on the south side of Chicago. It's primarily an intermodal yard where all the intermodal folks park, but since she happens to live kind of in the vicinity of that place, that's where she parks. And so the routine that we went through for the week was that I would meet her at the butt crack of dawn, 0 dark 30 in the morning, at South Costner on the south side, and we would do everything, pre-trip and all that good stuff, get in the truck, and almost right, actually from the word go, I was driving, and that's one of the things that I really appreciated about her. She did very, 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 very little driving. And when I mean very little, I mean maybe about a grand total of about 15 minutes of total driving in the entire week. The rest of the time was me. So right from the word go, I was in the driver's seat, and we would proceed from the South Costner yard and go out to Sterling, Illinois, which is about a 2.5 hour trip, depending on the traffic and the weather. And it's basically a straight shot out west towards the Iowa border, near the Rock River. And Walmart has a massive distribution center there, and that distribution center is, what do you call it? It's for perishables. So it's pretty much all food. And they have groceries and frozen and refrigerated foods there. And from that Walmart DC, most of the Chicagoland area Walmart stores and Sam's Club stores are facilitated out of that DC. So needless to say, they have an enormous amount of goods that come in and out of that place. It's quite an impressive place. So we would head out there first thing, and we would arrive at that DC, and we would get our Schneider actually has offices there because they pull a lot of the Walmart stuff out of that DC. So they have actually a terminal within Walmart's facility. And so we would hit our Schneider terminal and get our assignments, and we would go and drop the empty trailer that we were hooked to from the previous days, and grab a full trailer and then head out. Sometimes she will haul a reefer trailer, sometimes she will haul a regular trailer when it's just general groceries. For the entire week that I was with her, we did refrigerated loads. Most of them were frozen loads. But so we would go and hook up to a 53-foot reefer trailer. They're actually Walmart trailers, and we would pull them with our Schneider truck. And she had a sleeper cab, full sleeper cab Freightliner. And so off we went in a 53-foot trailer, full sleeper cab Freightliner, so a 70-plus feet long vehicle, over-the-road truck, going to make deliveries all through the city of Chicago. And when I say the city of Chicago, I mean the city of Chicago, like all of the little neighborhood streets of Chicago, and a couple of the outlying suburbs, but primarily we were doing mostly city deliveries. And I know that is something that makes a lot of people cringe and they get scared. And, I've seen so many YouTube videos where people talk about keep me out of cities and keep me out of New York, keep me out of Chicago, keep me out of LA. I get it, especially after the experiences of this last week. Boy, do I get it. You want to talk about tight spaces and ridiculous amounts of humanity, people everywhere. Doing crazy things and packed full of cars that have no idea what they're doing and don't care. But after this week, I tell you, I'm very glad I did it. And I think that training in this way, let's face it, frankly, driving a truck on an interstate, it's not all that difficult. It's not rocket science. If you have a shred of common sense and don't drive like an idiot, driving on an interstate is just that. It's driving on an interstate. When you are delivering loads all throughout a major metropolitan city, there's a hell of a lot of knowledge and skill involved there. These folks that do this on a day in, day out basis, they got some skills. I mean, holy cow. This woman that I was with, absolutely brilliant. So I am considering myself extremely lucky to have had her and to have worked her route with her. We would go and do usually 3, if not sometimes 4, but usually 3. We had a couple of days where we did 4 stops, but we did 3 stops at least every day. And again, all of those in the city. So you have the 2.5 hour drive back from the distribution center, which is basically over the road on Interstate 88. Then you get into traffic and humanity again of Chicago. You get into the outer fringes of the suburbs, and then we get down and dirty into the city. We primarily delivered on the south side and throughout the whole south side neighborhoods of Chicago. One day we did get up into like Vernon Hills and up on the north side. But most of it was in the city south. So we would hit a whole bunch of little neighborhood stores. And in this video, I just kind of used 3 of the stores that we did on one particular day for no other reason than just to show you a couple few of these stores and what they look like. The first one that we went to, we actually went to the store twice during the week. And this is what everybody knows as the Diversey store, the Diversey Walmart. It is a community Walmart store. I think it's a supercenter, actually. It's a Walmart supercenter. But it is tucked away in the Belmont Gardens neighborhood on the Chicago South Side. It's off of West Diversey. And this location is notorious among not only the Schneider drivers, but also the Walmart's private fleet drivers. And private fleet are the actual Walmart trucks that you see on the highway that are operated by Walmart and Walmart drivers. Had a chance to meet many of them because we would be on the same docks as them. And it was funny to me, or interesting to me, that every single person, without question, when the Diversey store would come up, all of them said, "Oh, no, I'm not going there. No way. No way am I going back to that place ever again." So before I even went there, I already had fair warning that this place was a nightmare. And this was also coming from Walmart drivers with years and years and years of experience. So my fearless training engineer, absolutely fearless, said that she lives and thrives off of those types of difficult stores. She loves them. So she's one of the very few people that raises her hand and volunteers to go to these places. So off we went. So the very first thing you do as you're coming up Cicero, you reach Diversey. I think it's Diversey that we turned on. I can't remember exactly, but you come up on a street where you have to do a right turn to get into this place. And this is turning off of Cicero, which is a fairly, it's a big street. But the street that you're turning off into, tiny. So what you have to do is you have to do what they call a button hook turn. And for the folks that are unfamiliar with button hooks, it's when the truck, in order to make a right turn, has to first swing way out left. I mean, like literally way out left into the left turn lane, and then take up the entire intersection and curl back in and around and come into that tiny little street. So the tractor of the truck is basically almost head-on collision with the people waiting at the red light on the right-hand side, on that right-hand side street that you're trying to turn into. So that button hook leaves you about, and you have to do it as extreme as you can possibly do a button hook, and you still have inches of clearance to get around a rather high curb. So that's just the introduction, the welcoming to this facility. Then you drive maybe a half a block or so up that street, and then you got to pull a left turn before a railroad bridge. And this left turn, again, very, very tight, and you're turning into a very narrow, very old alley. It's an alley that runs parallel along the elevated railroad tracks right above it. Very tight quarters and a very, very busy street, very, very busy place. So it takes a little bit of time of waiting before you can finally muscle your way in and take that left turn, because people, they don't care. If you don't muscle your way in and take the turn, you will sit there for the rest of the week because the traffic doesn't stop. So we muscle our way in there. Then you have to go down this alleyway. I want to say a good city block. This alley is extremely long. It's going behind this little Ford shopping center that this Walmart is in. And it goes all the way up. So you travel up this little alley, and then you come across the dock. And the dock itself isn't that bad. It's essentially, you have to, swing hard to the left, go straight up, and then, straight back up onto this dock. It's a two-door dock. The only problem is they always have an empty trailer on the outer side, so you always have to pull to the inner door that's against the wall. And the ground is extremely, what do you call it? It's not flat. So it's got a pretty severe pitch to it, and that pitch changes, so it kind of wiggles its way in. And for backing up a 53-foot semi-trailer that's hooked onto a sleeper cab, that wiggle can give you fits. It makes it a very difficult spot to back in straight without hitting anything. So you back in there, which I did. I did twice without incident and pretty quickly from what she told me. She was very happy with it, that it didn't take me forever to do it. And so then you think, okay, they've got all of the stuff offloaded, and you think, okay, great, I've got it made now. That's done. The hard part's over. Wrong. The hardest part of that store, and the reason why nobody wants to go there, is getting out. Once you are done, to get out of that place is something that I would never have imagined would be required of a truck driver. After I experienced it, it made me think, why the hell are they sending these trucks in there? They should be sending straight trucks in there, or maybe 48-foot or little pup trailers with day cabs. They should not be sending sleeper cab trucks with 53-foot trailers on them. But I digress. The only way you can get out of this place is to continue going down that very narrow alley until the very, very end, which is, another half a block or a full city block up this alley. And the alley kind of ends up at a muffler shop, behind a muffler shop. And you have to swing, a 90-degree corner into and through what is this muffler shop's parking lot, which, okay, I'm showing you pictures of. Now, all of these pictures I'm showing you are from Google Earth, and Google's car must have been through here on like a Sunday morning, right at the crack of dawn, in the middle of summer, when there was very few people around. What I was seeing was huge mounds of snow from plowing all over the place, making everything narrow, and cars everywhere. And this muffler shop is a busy one. So all of these parking spaces that you will see, all of them were filled. So we had to crawl this semi-truck around this 90-degree corner without hitting snowbanks and ice piles and without hitting any of the cars, pull it around this left-hand turn, 90-degree, and then pull it all the way as far over to the left side as possible right away to make this little S-curve chicane thing that you have to do to get the hell out of there. So you have to come out of this muffler shop, and as you'll see in the pictures, you have literally millimeters of room. And if there's any car parked in the wrong spot, forget it. You're not going anywhere until you find the owner of the car to move it. And for us, luckily, there was only massive mounds of snow, which I was able to kind of push us through. I literally had to snowplow the tractor through mounds of snow on the side of the road, and then slowly and carefully pull the trailer across, also, brushing up on snowbanks. Not damaging anything, just going slow and careful. But, you have to go all the way from the left side, go all the way out into the street, pretty much go up onto the curb to get yourself enough turn clearance. Turn it to the right, go as straight as you can for as long as you can to allow this 53-foot trailer to come around and make that turn. Because remember, its rear tires, the tandems, are 70 feet back there. So as your tractor is moving, obviously you've got to wait quite a while before those wheels react and turn as well. So you go straight for as long as you possibly can, then you pull a hard right to do a big sweeping, I guess for lack of a better term, button hook to the other side kind of a turn, to go left. And when you make that left to get onto that street that you see pictured there, you also have to go up onto the curb and literally drive on the sidewalk to make that turn. Otherwise, there's no way in hell you're getting around it. Craziest thing I've seen. I mean, impossibly tight. So we got there, we got through it, and like I said, I had the opportunity to go and drive it and do it not only once, but do it twice, and got through there unscathed, undamaged, hit nothing, and trainer was very happy with how I was able to do it. So that was really cool. That was a really cool experience. It was very difficult. It was very, very stressful, very nerve-wracking. But you know, as I've heard over and over and over and over, you know, if you keep your cool, keep your head about you, take your time, consider everything that is around you, be aware of everything that's around you, and just take your time, and you'll get through it. I did it twice, so that was a great experience. From that store, then we went to another store pretty close by. It's a little further south. It's kind of in the Hermosa area of Chicago, Hermosa neighborhood, kind of West Humboldt Park, kind of on the border. It's on West North Avenue, and this one, this one was a more reasonable city store. Yes, it's tight. Yes, it requires a rather tight right turn to get in, and then another rather tight left turn to get into the docks. And the dock area doesn't have a hell of a lot of room. So what you essentially have to do is you have to nose in and then take a gigantic U-turn and then back yourself in from there. The problem is that gigantic U-turn, you're doing it in a lot that's kind of irregular shaped, and it's really, really tight. So if you don't set yourself up right and you don't take up all the space that you have, you're not going to make it, and you'll be there for half the day trying to figure out how the hell you're going to do it. So yeah, that store, a lot easier than Diversey, but also, it was a challenging store. So that was also a good experience. And the last one that we hit on that particular day was a Sam's Club on Southwestern Avenue, just north of 95th. And that was in Evergreen Park. Basically, it's kind of the Beverly neighborhood off of 95th, but it is considered Evergreen Park, so it's the furthest east of Evergreen Park. And, that store, the store itself and the docks were reasonably decent. It's just the turn to get into the truck lane or truck entrance that goes in and goes around to the back side. It's a super tight turn, and it's coming in off of Southwestern. Anybody familiar with Chicago knows that anytime you have Western, whether it's south or north or what have you, Western is always a very, very, very busy street. There's always traffic on Western, and it's essentially a two-lane. In Evergreen Park down here, Western Avenue is a two-lane in one direction with a grass and tree center median, and two lanes going up in the other direction from there. So you essentially have 2 lanes worth of width, and that's it. You have no turn lane, you have no intersection. You just come up in a pack of cars because it's right before the light at 95th. So cars are literally stopped, and you crawl, and you have to make a right turn into a super narrow little inlet. It's almost more like an alley. And of course there's poles, telephone poles and stuff right on the corner, big high curb. So you're creeping along, and at some point when you have to do your button hook out to the left, what I did, and there's a little trick I learned from my trainer, is I put my left turn signal on, even though I was turning right, because you want to let the people behind you know kind of what you're doing. And most car drivers, they're not thinking in terms of truck, and they don't realize, if they see your right turn signal on, they don't realize that you have to swing out left. And even if they do, they're not thinking about that. They're just seeing a right turn signal, and it doesn't occur to their brain in that moment that in order to do it, you're going to need their lane in the left lane to make that turn. So what she told me is anytime I'm in that situation, always turn your left turn signal on when you want to turn right if you're going to do a button hook, which is, I think, fabulous advice because, the people behind you know that this gigantic truck there that's in front of them is going to be moving left. I better pay attention. And sure enough, I had my left turn signal on, and there was somebody nice enough, which I encountered several times in the city of Chicago. Say what you will about cities, and say what you will about the city of Chicago specifically. You always hear about, what kind of crazy drivers, and yes, there are crazy drivers, and, everybody's an asshole, da-da-da. But you know what? That's not the truth. I encountered a lot of really courteous four-wheelers that knew that, I needed to get in. and they would wait and they would let me in. So I was actually pretty surprised at that. And this Sam's Club was no exception. I had my left turn signal on, and this person stopped, and they let me in. So I swung as hard as I could to the left, just almost rubbing on that curb with my steer tire, and then turned the turn signal to the right and button hooked my way into that entrance. And that entrance, I mean, it's a matter of a couple inches of space without hitting anything. So got through that. The dock itself, just a normal Walmart dock, nothing special, not anything terribly difficult, but tight. Got through that. So end of our day after that delivery, we would head from there back to the Costner Schneider yard on South Costner, and park the truck, do a post trip, and I would head home from there. So that trip out to Sterling, Illinois, and the 3 deliveries, by the time we would get the truck back to the yard, we were typically leaving the yard in the morning at, I want to say, about 6 a.m. By the time we would have everything pre-tripped and ready to go, we'd be pulling out of there by about 6 a.m. In the evening, we were pulling back in there at about 6 p.m. Sometimes 7, one day at 8. As far as driving, it ended up being somewhere between 300 and 400 total miles each day. But again, keep in mind that 300 or 400 miles was taking my entire 11-hour drive clock, because you're driving in the city. So very, very long days. From there, I was staying at home, and I live close to the Wisconsin border, up north, and of course the yard's on the far south side. So I had a 1 to 1.5 hour commute each way. So if you start doing that math, a 12, 13, or 14 hour work day in the truck, plus another 2 to 3 hours in commuting time, it meant I was getting home and, winding down and doing, a couple of little things here and there and eating something and getting about 5 hours of sleep or so, and getting back up and going right back at it. So it was a full week. It was a busy week. But great experience. I am really, really glad I had the trainer that I did. I have a feeling I'm going to be knowing her for quite some time to come. Great person, even better drive. I mean, I can't say enough about this woman's driving. Watching this woman back a truck, and it was unreal. I think she could probably drive a truck better in reverse than most people can in a forward gear. I mean, ridiculous the amount of control she has, and also just a fabulous person. So that's it. Rave reviews. I'm glad I got through it. I'm glad it's all done, and I'm really glad that I did it the way it happened to go. I'm very, very glad I had a city delivering driver as a trainer. I think that's invaluable. So my advice would be maybe to some of the other new guys and girls out there, if you're terrified of the city or if you're terrified of driving in those situations, you know what? Face your fear. Sometime in your career, you will probably have to go into these types of places at some time. It might not be all the time, but you will probably get put in a situation where you're going to have to go to these types of places. And to start your career off, to start like I have, starting my training in some of the most difficult situations you can put a tractor trailer in, I'm really, really grateful for that, and I'm really happy I did it that way, because I'm not overly confident. I'm not, I still know I'm not by any means an expert in anything, not even close. I still have quite a ways to go in terms of, backing and all the other skills with a truck. But, that fear of, oh my God, what if they send me to this? But that's no longer there, because I know that, okay, I'm not an expert and I'm not a magician like my trainer. Watching her back into some of these spots, she showed me a couple of times, and then she'd pull out and have me do it. It's like, wow. You just sit there with your jaw in your lap. But you know what? I could get on the exact same doors as she. And yeah, it took me longer. Of course it did. I'm brand new. But the point is, I would get on the same exact doors and I would do the exact same things. It would just take me longer. Just had to be careful and get through it. So anyway, that's it. That was my week. Ended on, we started last Tuesday in a right at the morning, right after a massive snowstorm in Chicago. I have another video that I'm going to post of the GoPro camera in my car at 0:30 in the morning, driving down there at the tail end of this blizzard. And so you can see what the roads look like driving in the dark with the snow just everywhere. Yeah, so it started on Tuesday, ended on Saturday night. Today is Monday. And tomorrow morning, I report to the Gary Operating Center, and I'm going to meet with my driver business leader at 9 a.m. in the cafeteria, and I'm getting my own truck. So tomorrow should be a cool day. Not quite sure exactly what I can take video of and when I can do it, but of course I will have that coming. So keep tuned in for that. And next time you see me, I will probably be a brand new solo driver with my own truck. I have no idea what they're going to give me, but we'll wait and see what happens tomorrow. So I'm just, as far as, what kind of truck am I going to get, as far as I'm concerned, I really don't care. The only thing I hope for is that it is reliable. If it's brand new, wonderful. But if it's going to be breaking down constantly, I'd rather have an older truck that's already been through all the crap that's working properly. So who knows? The only thing I hope for is a truck that has no issues keeping me from making money. So that's it. Thanks for going through this. We're already pushing past a half hour. I'm trying not to do that, but a lot to say. So thanks for watching, and I will check back in with you as soon as I can. See ya.